The Forgotten Guardian. Commander Sarah Chen pressed her face against the observation window of Research Station Poseidon, watching the endless blue waves of Nerea 7 roll beneath the morning sun. The ocean stretched to every horizon, broken only by the occasional storm cloud or the distant spout of some massive sea creature. To most beings in the galaxy, this world was a death trap. To Sarah, it was home. The Galactic Council had classified Nerea 7 as Hazard Class 3, unsuitable for colonization. Too much water, they said. Too many storms. Too many unknown dangers lurking in the depths. The perfect place to dump a human research team that nobody wanted to deal with. Sarah had been commanding this floating research station for 2 years now, and she had learned to love the challenge. Her team consisted of 12 humans, each one considered problematic by their previous assignments. Dr. Marcus Webb had been transferred here after he kept modifying standard equipment without authorization. Lieutenant Rosa Martinez was here because she questioned orders that put civilians at risk. Chief Petty Officer James Thompson, nicknamed Shark by everyone, was sent to Nerea 7 after he crashed 3 different spacecraft while attempting unauthorized maneuvers. They were misfits, but they were her misfits. The station's communication system crackled to life. "Commander, you need to see this," came Dr. Webb's excited voice from the underwater laboratory. "We found something big." Sarah made her way through the station's corridors to the submersible bay. The floating research station was built in 3 levels. The surface level housed living quarters and the command center. The middle level contained laboratories and workshops, and the lower level held the submersible bay and diving equipment. Dr. Webb was waiting for her at the submarine dock, his eyes bright with discovery. "What is it this time, Marcus?" Sarah asked. Dr. Webb had a tendency to get excited about unusual fish or interesting rock formations. As the station's marine engineer and chief inventor, he found wonder in everything the ocean offered. "Not what, Commander? Where?" He pulled up a holographic display showing the ocean floor 3 kilometers below their station. "Look at these sonar readings. There's a structure down there. A big one." Sarah studied the display. The sonar showed what appeared to be a geometric pattern on the ocean floor, too regular to be natural. It stretched for several kilometers in each direction, like a vast underwater city. "Could be natural crystal formations," she suggested. "That's what I thought too," Dr. Webb replied. "But look at these energy readings." He switched the display to show electromagnetic signatures. "There's power down there, Commander. A lot of it, and it's been getting stronger over the past few days." Before Sarah could respond, Lieutenant Martinez's voice came over the intercom from the command center. "Commander to the bridge, Priority 1. We have incoming ships." Sarah and Dr. Webb rushed to the command center, where Lieutenant Martinez was standing at the sensor console. The display showed 5 large vessels approaching Nerea 7 from deep space. Sarah recognized the design immediately. Zephyrian Empire warships. The Zephyrians were one of the most aggressive species in the galaxy. They had evolved on a high-gravity world with limited resources, making them excellent warriors but terrible diplomats. Their empire had been expanding for centuries, taking whatever they wanted from weaker civilizations. What could they possibly want with a worthless water world? "Open communication channels," Sarah ordered. The main screen flickered to life, showing the bridge of the lead Zephyrian vessel. Admiral Kethfar appeared, his reptilian features twisted into what Sarah recognized as a predatory smile. His scales were dark green with gold markings that indicated his high rank. Behind him, Sarah could see Zephyrian soldiers preparing weapons. "Commander Chen." Admiral Kethfar spoke in perfect English, his voice carrying the typical Zephyrian hiss. "You will evacuate your station immediately. This world now belongs to the Zephyrian Empire." Sarah kept her expression calm. "This is Alliance territory, Admiral. Nerea 7 is under human protection, according to Galactic Council Resolution 847. Kethfar's laugh was like metal scraping against stone. The Galactic Council sent you here to die slowly on a worthless world. They will not miss you when you are gone. You have 1 hour to evacuate." The communication ended, leaving the command center in tense silence. Sarah looked around at her crew. They were all watching her, waiting for orders. These people had been cast aside by their own species, sent to a world that everyone considered a death trap. But they had made it their home, and Sarah was not about to give it up without a fight. "Marcus," she said, "how quickly can you get a team down to that underwater structure?" "The modified submersible can reach those depths," he replied. "But it's dangerous, Commander. We don't know what's down there." "We know there's power," Sarah said. "And right now, we need every advantage we can get. Rosa, what are our defensive capabilities?" Lieutenant Martinez pulled up the station's weapon systems on her display. "We have standard defensive barriers and 4 pulse cannons. Against 5 Zephyrian warships, we'll last about 10 minutes. Then we better make those 10 minutes count," Sarah decided. "Marcus, take Shark and 2 others down in the submersible. Find out what's generating that power. Rosa, prepare all defensive systems and start evacuation procedures for non-essential personnel." "Commander," Dr. Webb interrupted, "what if the Zephyrians are here because of what's down there? What if they know something we don't?" Sarah considered this. The Zephyrians were ruthless, but they weren't stupid. They wouldn't attack an Alliance research station without good reason. Then we need to find out what they know before they get their hands on it. 30 minutes later, Dr. Webb and Chief Thompson were descending through the dark waters in the modified research submersible. The vessel had been designed for deep ocean exploration, with reinforced hull plating and advanced sonar systems. As they approached the 3-kilometer depth, the ocean around them became completely black, except for the submersible's lights. "Energy readings are off the charts," Dr. Webb reported through the communication system. "Whatever's down here, it's been dormant for a long time, but it's waking up." Through the submersible's cameras, Sarah watched as the structure came into view. It was not a natural formation. Smooth metal surfaces reflected their lights, and geometric patterns covered what appeared to be massive walls and towers. The structure was clearly artificial, but it was unlike anything in the database of known galactic civilizations. "Commander," Chief Thompson's voice came through with unusual tension. "This thing is huge. It stretches beyond our sensor range in every direction. We're looking at an entire underwater city." As they approached one of the larger structures, lights began activating along its surface. Not harsh electric lights, but a soft blue glow that seemed to pulse with life. The submersible's instruments detected an energy field surrounding them, but it didn't seem hostile. "I'm reading atmosphere inside some of these structures," Dr. Webb reported with amazement. "Breathable atmosphere. This place was designed for air-breathing species." Suddenly, the ocean around them began to change. The water itself started to glow with the same soft blue light, and Sarah could see on the surface monitors that the glow was rising toward the research station. At the same time, the Zephyrian ships entered the planet's atmosphere, their weapons systems charging. "Commander," Lieutenant Martinez called out urgently, "the Zephyrians are beginning their attack run. Whatever's happening down there, they don't like it." Sarah watched as the first Zephyrian ship fired its main weapons at the research station. The energy beams struck their defensive barriers, causing the entire station to shake violently. The barriers held, but Sarah knew they wouldn't last long against sustained attack. "Marcus, Shark, get back up here now," she ordered. "Commander, wait." Dr. Webb's voice was filled with wonder. "Something's happening. The structure is responding to the attack." On the surface, Sarah watched in amazement as the ocean around their station began to rise. Not in waves, but in organized columns of water that moved with purpose. The glowing blue energy that had started in the depths was now visible throughout the water around them. As the second Zephyrian ship fired its weapons, one of the water columns intercepted the energy beam, somehow absorbing and redirecting it harmlessly into the sky. "The ocean is defending us," Lieutenant Martinez whispered in disbelief. More water columns rose from the sea, reaching toward the Zephyrian ships like liquid fingers. When they made contact with the vessels, Sarah could see the ship's shields flaring as they tried to protect against an attack unlike anything they had ever encountered. The water didn't strike like a physical blow, but seemed to flow around and through the shield systems, reaching the ships themselves. Admiral Kethvar's face appeared on the communication screen again, but this time his predatory confidence was replaced with confusion and anger. "What sorcery is this? What have you awakened?" "You're welcome to try," Sarah replied. "But I think you'll find that this ocean has been waiting a very long time for someone to properly appreciate it." As the Zephyrian ships finally retreated, pushed away by currents that seemed to extend far into space, Sarah realized that everything had changed. Nerea 7 was no longer a worthless death trap where unwanted humans were sent to be forgotten. It was a fortress world, protected by technology beyond anything the galaxy had seen. And somehow it had chosen to work with humanity. The question now was what they would do with this incredible responsibility. When Deathworlders fight back. 3 days after the first Zephyrian attack, Sarah stood in the newly discovered control chamber 3 kilometers beneath the ocean's surface. The ancient structure had revealed itself to be far more than just a defensive system. It was a masterpiece of engineering that had been waiting for the right species to unlock its secrets. Dr. Webb was working with symbols that appeared to be a combination of mathematics and poetry, trying to understand the control systems left behind by the mysterious builders. The chamber itself was a marvel. A transparent dome surrounded by flowing water that somehow remained separate from the breathable atmosphere inside. Through the transparent walls, Sarah could see the vast underwater city stretching in all directions, its bioluminescent lights pulsing in patterns that reminded her of a heartbeat. "Commander," Lieutenant Martinez's voice came through the communication system from the surface. "We're receiving a priority transmission from the Galactic Council. Ambassador Veltar wants to speak with you immediately." Sarah sighed. The Galactic Council representative was probably calling to demand an explanation for the incident with the Zephyrians. The Council preferred to handle such matters through careful diplomacy, rather than allowing humans to defend themselves with mysterious ancient weapons. "Put him through," Sarah replied. Ambassador Veltar appeared on the chamber's communication screen. He was a Celestian, a species known for their tall, ethereal appearance and their belief in maintaining galactic peace through careful neutrality. His silver skin seemed to shimmer as he spoke, and his large, dark eyes showed the kind of patience that came from living for several centuries. "Commander Chen," he began in his melodious voice, "the Council has received reports of an unauthorized activation of ancient technology on Nerea 7. This is a serious violation of galactic preservation protocols." "With respect, Ambassador," Sarah replied, "we were defending ourselves against an unprovoked attack. The technology activated on its own in response to the threat. Nevertheless, you must cease all interaction with the technology immediately. A Council investigation team will arrive within the week to assess and contain the situation." Sarah looked around the control chamber, where Dr. Webb was making breakthrough after breakthrough in understanding the ancient systems. Chief Thompson was learning to pilot submersibles that could move through the water as easily as flying through air. The technology wasn't just defending them, it was teaching them, sharing knowledge that could revolutionize humanity's understanding of engineering and physics. "I'm afraid that won't be possible, Ambassador," Sarah said firmly. "This technology has chosen to work with us. We have a responsibility to learn from it and protect it." Ambassador Veltar's expression hardened. "Commander, you are overstepping your authority. This technology predates the Galactic Council by millions of years. It belongs to all sentient species, not just humanity." Before Sarah could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the chamber. Dr. Webb looked up from his work with concern. "Commander, I'm detecting massive energy signatures approaching the system. Multiple fleets, all moving at maximum speed toward Nerea 7. Sarah's heart sank as she realized what was happening. "How many fleets, Marcus?" At least 6, maybe more. Zephyrian Empire, hegemony forces, even some council peacekeeping vessels. They're all coming here. The communication screen split to show multiple incoming transmissions. Admiral Kethvar appeared alongside several other military commanders from across the galaxy. Sarah recognized general facts of the hegemony, a brutally efficient military organization that valued strength above all else. Commander Zix of the Council's Enforcement Division also appeared, along with representatives from species Sarah had never encountered before, humans. Admiral Kethvar began, his reptilian features showing more anger than before. You have awakened something that should have remained sleeping. The power you command threatens the balance of the galaxy. General Fax, whose insectoid appearance made him look like a massive praying mantis, clicked his mandibles in agreement. Such weapons cannot be allowed to remain in the hands of a single species. The hegemony demands immediate surrender of all ancient technology. The Council echoes this demand, added Commander Zix, whose mechanical voice carried the authority of the galaxy's governing body. Humanity will relinquish control of Nerea 7 and submit to Council oversight. Sarah felt a moment of panic as she realized the scope of what they were facing. Multiple fleets meant hundreds of ships, thousands of soldiers, and weapons capable of destroying entire planets. Her research station had 12 people and some very advanced, but poorly understood defensive systems. Dr. Webb, she asked quietly, please tell me you've learned something about how these defenses work. Marcus looked up from his console with a mixture of excitement and concern. I think so, Commander. The builders didn't just create weapons. They created an entire ecosystem. The ocean itself is alive in a sense, connected to a network that spans across multiple star systems. And I think... He paused, checking his readings again. I think there are other water worlds. Lots of them. What do you mean? The network is activating, Commander. Whatever we did here, it's sending signals to other ocean planets across the galaxy. The entire system is waking up. Sarah felt a chill of realization. If there were other water worlds with similar defensive capabilities, and if they were all connected, then humanity had stumbled upon something far more significant than a single planet's defenses. They had activated a galactic network that had been dormant for millions of years. The first fleet to arrive was Admiral Kethvar's expanded Zephyrian force. 50 warships dropped out of hyperspace and immediately began forming an attack formation around Nerea 7. The ocean responded instantly, creating a defensive perimeter of controlled water that extended far into space. But this time, the Zephyrians were prepared. They're using plasma weapons, Lieutenant Martinez reported from the surface. Superheated energy that's designed to vaporize water on contact. Sarah watched through the chamber's viewing systems as the battle began. The Zephyrian ships fired concentrated beams of plasma at the water defenses, causing massive clouds of steam to rise from the ocean's surface. For a moment, it seemed like the ancient defenses might be overwhelmed by modern military technology. Then the ocean adapted. Instead of trying to block the plasma directly, the water began to flow around it, creating channels and tunnels that redirected the superheated energy harmlessly into space. The steam clouds were absorbed back into the ocean almost instantly, as if the water was learning from each attack and developing countermeasures. Incredible, Dr. Webb whispered. The system is evolving in real time. It's not just defensive, it's intelligent. The hegemony fleet arrived next, followed closely by the Council enforcement ships. Soon, nearly 300 vessels surrounded Nerea 7, all preparing for battle against a planet that most of the galaxy had considered worthless just days before. Sarah made a decision that would change the course of galactic history. Open communication channels to all fleets, she ordered. Commander, Lieutenant Martinez objected. They're not going to negotiate. They want the technology, and they're willing to destroy us to get it. Then we need to show them why that would be a mistake, Sarah replied. Her image appeared on screens throughout all the attacking fleets. Sarah could see the surprise on various alien faces as they realized they were about to go to war with a single human research station. "I am Commander Sarah Chen of the Alliance Research Station Poseidon," she began. "You have all come here seeking to claim technology that you believe belongs to the galaxy as a whole. I'm here to tell you that you're wrong." Admiral Keffar's laugh carried across multiple communication channels. One human station against the combined fleets of 6 galactic powers. "Your courage is admirable, but your position is hopeless." "Is it?" Sarah asked. "Marcus, show them the network." Dr. Webb activated a holographic display that appeared on every ship's communication screen. It showed a map of the galaxy with hundreds of points of light scattered across multiple star systems. Each point represented a water world, and as they watched, the lights began to pulse in synchronized patterns. "These are the ocean worlds," Sarah explained. "For millions of years, they've been considered death traps, worthless planets that no one wanted to colonize. What you're seeing now is the truth. They're all connected. They're all part of a defensive network created by a species that understood something the rest of the galaxy has forgotten." "And what is that?" demanded General Fax. "That life is more important than power," Sarah replied. "The builders of this network created these worlds as sanctuaries, places where life could flourish and defend itself against those who would destroy it for resources or territory." As if responding to her words, the ocean around Nerea 7 began to display something new. Massive holographic images appeared in the water, showing the history of the builders. The gathered fleets watched in amazement as the story unfolded. An ancient civilization that had faced a choice between conquest and preservation. They had chosen to create safe havens throughout the galaxy, then disappeared, leaving their technology to wait for a species that would use it responsibly. "The network didn't choose humanity because we're superior," Sarah continued. "It chose us because we understand water worlds. We know how to work with the ocean instead of trying to conquer it. We've been doing it on our own homeworld for thousands of years." Commander Zix's mechanical voice cut through the communication channels. "Even if this is true, the technology is too powerful for any single species to control. The Council must regulate its use. The Council sent us here to die slowly on a worthless world," Sarah replied sharply. "You didn't want to deal with us, so you dumped us on a planet you thought would kill us. Now that we've turned your death trap into a fortress, you want to take it away." The conversation was interrupted by another set of alarms. This time, they weren't coming from Nerea 7. They were coming from the attacking fleets. "Commander," Dr. Webb called out with excitement, "the network is responding to the threat. Other water worlds are activating." On screens throughout the gathered fleets, new reports began streaming in. Ocean worlds across the galaxy were coming to life, their defensive systems activating in response to the threat against Nerea 7. Ships that had been left to guard home territories found themselves facing the same impossible water-based defenses that surrounded the human research station. Admiral Keffar's expression changed from anger to fear as he received reports from his home system. "Our colony worlds are under attack by their own oceans. This is impossible." "It's not an attack," Sarah corrected. "It's a message. The network is showing you what happens when you threaten one of its worlds. Every ocean planet in the galaxy is now connected and active. You can destroy Nerea 7, but you'll face the same defenses on hundreds of other worlds." General Fax was receiving similar reports from hegemony territory. "Our mining operations on 3 water worlds have been shut down by what can only be described as organized oceanic resistance." Sarah felt a sense of satisfaction as she realized the scope of what was happening. The ancient builders had created a network that could activate across the entire galaxy simultaneously. By threatening one water world, the combined fleets had awakened all of them. "The choice is yours," Sarah announced to all the gathered commanders. "You can continue this attack and find yourselves fighting oceanic defenses on hundreds of worlds, or you can accept that water worlds are no longer free for the taking." Ambassador Veltar appeared on the communication screen. his usual calm demeanor replaced with urgent concern. "Commander Chen, the Council is receiving reports of oceanic activation from across our territory. This must stop immediately." "It will stop when the threat stops," Sarah replied. "The network is defensive, not aggressive. Remove your fleets from Nerea 7, and the other water worlds will return to their dormant state." What followed was the most tense negotiation in galactic history. Fleet commanders who had arrived expecting to overwhelm a single research station found themselves bargaining for the security of their own territories. The network had demonstrated that it could affect every ocean world simultaneously, making it impossible to ignore or contain. After 6 hours of discussions, threats, and gradual realization of their position, the combined fleets began to withdraw. The Zephyrian Empire was the last to leave, with Admiral Kethvar transmitting one final message. "This is not over, humans. The galaxy will not allow you to control such power indefinitely." Sarah's response was broadcast to all the departing ships. "We're not controlling anything, Admiral. We're protecting it. There's a difference, and maybe someday you'll understand that." As the last of the attacking fleets departed, Sarah looked around the ancient control chamber. Dr. Webb was still working with the alien symbols. Chief Thompson was learning to pilot submersibles that could move through both water and space, and Lieutenant Martinez was coordinating with other human colonies to share their discoveries. "Commander," Dr. Webb called out, "I think I'm beginning to understand the full scope of what we've inherited. This technology isn't just about defense. It's about transformation. The builders were trying to create a new kind of civilization, one that worked with natural forces instead of trying to dominate them." Sarah nodded, looking out through the transparent walls at the vast underwater city that was still revealing its secrets. "Then I guess we have some learning to do, and some growing up to do as a species." "What do you mean?" Lieutenant Martinez asked. "We're not just researchers anymore," Sarah replied. "We're guardians. The network has made humanity responsible for protecting water worlds across the galaxy. That's not a job for misfits and outcasts." "Maybe," Chief Thompson said with a grin. "Misfits and outcasts are exactly what the job requires. We're the ones who know how to survive when everyone else has given up on us." Sarah smiled, realizing he was right. The galaxy had sent them to Nerea 7 to die slowly on a worthless world. Instead, they had discovered that the so-called death trap was actually a fortress, and the outcasts had become its guardians. The water worlds were no longer forgotten corners of the galaxy. They were sanctuaries, protected by ancient technology, and guided by humans who understood that sometimes the greatest strength comes from learning to work with forces beyond your control rather than trying to conquer them. And in the depths of Nerea 7's ocean, the ancient city pulsed with renewed life, its builder's dream of sanctuary finally fulfilled after millions of years of waiting.